Hi, I'm Carly of Gnarly Carly Gaming, and today I'm going to be talking about Ninth Circle, a new game from R&R Games coming to Kickstarter today. If you're familiar with Dante's Inferno, you'll know that Malakota, the demon leader, basically leads a horde of demon lords that guard the 8th circle of hell. This is the basis of the game. All players are playing as demon lords, and they're all trying to earn Malakota's favor by controlling different realms within the 8th circle of hell and sacrificing minions into the center 9th circle. What this all amounts to is a fairly tight game of hidden movement and area control, all ending when one player amasses at least 25 favor or points. Every round, players will take all of the minions available to them. Minions are represented in this prototype here with all of these little cubes, and essentially they will take them all and deploy them secretly behind this shield onto a board that replicates the board in the center of the game. This board is modular, so games have a lot of variety game to game in terms of which realms are where, but they're all labeled with a letter, and that mimics this mini board here. And so I will take it and essentially assign where all of my minions are going to go this round. In addition to minion placement, there's also a little bit of minion movement. Every player has these 3 arrows in which they can use to move minions that are already placed. Now, essentially what will happen once everyone is ready is everyone will reveal their shields, all of their selections, and then move these cubes to the corresponding spots on the board. Once they've done so, then players will compare for dominance. Whoever has the most minions present within a certain realm will be declared dominant in that round. That will score them a point at the end of the round, a favor of Malakota. Additionally, folks can vie for basically majority of sacrifices into the 9th circle. 9th circle being the name of the game. However, you can't place your cubes into the 9th circle, so you have to utilize these arrows to essentially push cubes that are already on the board or ones that you're placing into the center to sacrifice them. You can also use these arrows between 2 sectors to force cubes to move from realm to realm, round to round. Now, after dominance is determined is where the game gets interesting. Starting with the realm that Malakota is present, he'll start at the realm labeled A and will rotate throughout the game. Basically, every single section, whoever had that dominant majority gets to trigger a special ability. These can be things like destroying other people's minions, moving them about, making them yours for a limited duration by possessing them, binding people, so trapping them in one location, and even something like a berserk, which basically blows up the value of a minion from 1 to 3, but then they'll die as soon as dominance is scored. So all of these abilities are really what shape kind of the chaotic feeling and the push and pull between players. Half the game is that hidden movement, anticipating where everyone will go, and the other half is utilizing these abilities and that dominance as best as possible to build a board state that will favor you from round to round. At the end of each round, anyone who had that dominance in a realm will score 1 favor, but additionally, whoever sacrificed the most into the 9th circle will get 5 favor. Then second most is 3, 2, 1, and 1, up to 5 players, because it can be up to a 5-player game. And so sacrificing into the 9th circle will greatly diminish how much power you have in the other realms of the board, but it's also the name of the game and can earn you massive, massive points if you anticipate your opponent's moves wisely and are able to come out on top. There's also a bit of a catch-up mechanic round to round. Once a round is over, depending on how well you're doing in favor, you'll get additional minions to kind of help and come into your horde. Who's ever winning will get the least, and who's ever losing will get the most. So essentially giving them a chance to kind of overshine some of those dominant players on the board. And what all of this amounts to is basically an hour of chaotic fun. Abilities push you around, hidden movement is delightfully charming, but it also doesn't take itself too seriously. You're trying to anticipate your friends, and sometimes that will go awry. Sometimes folks get a little lucky where no one else joins them in an area and they get to dominate for very little power. and sometimes you just get bound up in someone else's ability and aren't able to make the best use of what you'd like to do. It's chaotic, it's joyful. What I really love in it is the fact that it's hidden movement that everyone gets to move. There's a lot of hidden movement games that I really enjoy, like Beast and Mind Management, where one person is kind of being the hidden mover and everyone else is kind of more scouting for them. And I like this game of all of us kind of secretly behind our shields, kind of anticipating each other, trying to fortify things that matter and anticipate as best as possible. There's abilities like Portal, which lets you kind of flip all of the cubes on one space into another, including potentially Portal, and those kind of things can be really powerful. I might have a pretty strong hold on one area with a lot of minions there, but you could throw me to something else and kind of take it for yourself in a very, very simple action if I'm not too careful. So it's chaotic, it's lovely, it's secretive, it's silly, and it's an hour. So it's just that like perfect little bite of secret hidden movement. Though honestly, in all the games I had, it always came down to the wire. We'd always be within a few points of each other. And that last round, especially who got the 9th circle points, can make all of the difference in the end game. But this game knows what it is. It's strategic, it's light, it's chaotic, it's fun, it's taking your best shot at dominance and winning favor of a demon lord in about an hour. I will say the game can end in one of two ways. It's either getting 25 favor, or it's when Malakota, because he'll begin the round at A and then rotate from realm to realm, so realms will trigger in different orders. And if he ever makes it all the way back, the game will also end. I've never had that happen in all of the games I played, but it is possible if you guys aren't earning points. Now, the game says it's 4 to 5 players, but I think it really shines at 4 or 5. It is solid at 3, but I really just think the swing in power with a 4 to 5 player game for the area control is just a lot more pleasant, and it makes for a lot more fierce competition and less people holding things for a long period of time. Additionally, there's some variants in the game. One variant I actually think should just be the standard rule, and that is an advanced variant where instead of determining dominance for the entire board, in which case you'll usually use these little demon shade markers to mark the board and say, I have power here and I will be scoring here as well as using the realm ability. Instead, what it does is, starting with where Malakota is, dominance is determined and the ability fires off. So for instance, this ability, Banish, where Malakota is currently standing, allows a player who controls it to move other cubes. Now, in a typical game, you go through and determine dominance before any abilities trigger. And instead, in this variant, you can have dominance just for this one section and then the ability fire and then move. This can drastically change who actually gets control of an area in a given round and not just round 2 round. And I think that is a lot more interesting. It also means that at the end of the game, in that final round, the decisions you make still matter, whereas otherwise it kind of falls flat, in my opinion. So I love the game. I think it's really interesting and a cool little dance of hidden movement, but I really do think that advanced variant is just simply a better variant. It makes for a more compelling game, but if your circle is a little overwhelmed by the game at first brush, then maybe stick with the typical flow of affairs. This is in no way a full critique of the game. It's just to say, if you enjoy this game, skip to the advanced variant. Trust me, you'll like the game all the more. But in any case, this is a great little game. If you have any other questions about it, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you guys quickly. And otherwise, I will see you all for the next video.